one of their officers did assault me. And the other, I don't know how they came up with five. They came up with five. There was five officers on a list, but there was only four involved in the situation. The three that were outside, and the supervisor that came after. So I don't know where they got five. What they did, they let the other three off, and they gave the one that physically pushed me like 8 different times. They let him off on well, they didn't let him off. They said that he did assault me. Slayer's trying to get the letter up right now so we can all read it. What up, Two Spirited?
Hang on. I'll have to. I can't do it from here. Not on the phone. Just pull it up on your other phone, or
I don't have my other one.
Shit.
It's in the car. It's dead.
All right, hang on. Let me. I'm gonna leave the stream real quick. Just tell everybody what's going on. I'll pop back on from the studio downstairs so everybody can see it.
Ballin'. All right, we'll see you in a minute.
All right.
But yeah, so we got that letter today. Last night we went to Willimantic. We went to the town hall because of all this stuff going on with the mayor and these threats and this and that. We want to speak to him, so we went down there. We tried to. Of course, we didn't really get anywhere. Or we wanted to speak to the town manager too. Oh, Two Spirited, you're awesome. Thank you so much. And tried to set up a meeting. We went and checked out the library, which was awesome. We didn't have any issues. We just went through, we checked it out. And then we actually went to the police department, and we got Officer Rivera, who in my eyes is awesome. He's an awesome dude. Every time I've seen him, he's always been on point. He's real respectful. He's polite. So we talked to him. We actually had a really good conversation with him for like 15, 20 minutes about everything. And he wasn't really like biased. He wasn't, oh, back to blue or you guys are right. He kind of stayed in the middle. He gave us the information we needed. And we left. We were leaving town and we decided to go get food. That was the video that just aired. And we saw a cop flying down the street, no lights, passing everybody. Putnam, I stayed up in Putnam for a while, Tommy. But yeah, dude, blazing down the street with no lights on, passing cars, going in oncoming traffic. He literally almost sideswiped a car right next to us, like, and then he'd flick his lights at the stop sign so he could run through them. He's not even in a normal cop car. He's in the all black cop car, so it doesn't look like. Yeah, you're right, Anon Mouse. You're absolutely right. But what up, Hood Tours? But he doesn't. You know what I mean? Driving like that. And then he got to the guy, and he was there for like a minute and a half, 2 minutes before I got there because I ran up there to see what was going on. And there was nothing going on. I didn't even see him exchange info, like nothing. He didn't get a ticket. So he did all that, endangered all those people's lives on the road just to pull that person over. Ryan, what up, bro? Good to see you here. But he literally endangered all those people's lives for that. So I told him you shouldn't be doing that, driving like that, and then pulling people over. Rivera from the police station actually showed up, who was awesome again. I just told him, I'm not going to start any trouble. I'm here. I'm going to talk. That's it. Please don't arrest me for talking. And he was cool, so we left. But then the officer Giller, who was there when Tyrant Karen Prost went nuts and arrested me for advising somebody of their rights, but he was there. He didn't come and help, you know what I mean? He didn't stop this criminal from arresting me, you know what I mean? He allowed it. He watched. He was a part of it. So he literally drove in circles by us. He probably passed us 15 times in 7-8 minutes. Like, he would literally just keep driving in circles to keep passing us. And towards the end, I flipped him off a few times because it was getting old. Like, I'll be polite if you're polite, but if you're just driving around in circles to drive around in circles, I'm going to flip you off. So I flipped him off. I almost thought he was going to stop us. He drove by real slow. We caught him sitting in a parking lot. We tried to talk to him. Guess what happened? We didn't get anywhere because as soon as we got there, he drove away. Dim Sum, what up? You're right, dude. It's crazy. We got some good people in here. Slayer's getting the studio going right now, so we could bring up the letter from Norwich or New London and show you guys. They were the first ones. New London was the first department to put their hands on me, to assault me, and do those types of things. And like I said, I haven't even put complaints in on yet. That the whole internal investigation and everything that was done from you guys. You guys, people from the internet called and got that ball rolling, and I got in touch with them after the fact, and I wanted to see what they would do with just the evidence, because I spoke to them, I think, once, and they told me they were doing the investigation, but the video speaks for itself. The video doesn't lie. I see you there, Terrence. You're good. How do I get you? If you're backstage, how do I get you in? Oh, I don't know how to do this. Hold on, guys. Oh, there he is. I got you, bud. Sorry.
Oh, here we go. Do I got audio? Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, let me pull this up for you.
Told you we'd get it, guys. It was crazy, though.
Just take a minute. I'm scrolling through our conversation now. So there's a long list of charges against these New London officers here. It's ever growing.
Joe. What up, Joe? Yeah, you're right, though. That officer did commit a bunch of crimes that day against a citizen for nothing.
Okay, I'm downloading it now. Just take another second here.
He literally pushed me all around the parking lot. Like, that was the day I realized auditing wasn't all peaches and cream.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? That was a completely different type of audit. And I was like, what the heck?
Yeah, folks, make no mistake about it. What we do is very risky, and it's unfortunate to say, but it's a very unhealthy line of work sometimes. It can be very detrimental to our safety, our families, our wallets, the resources of taxpayers, you name it, and it shouldn't be that way. So it's that unto itself is a disturbing fact about our line of work. You know, you can't just be a journalist, I guess, in America today.
No, if you are, you're a criminal.
Right. All right. So let me see here. I got share screen again. Let me try this again. I got the oops.
Older than dirt, two-spirited.
Okay, I got that up. Share screen. There it is. Share. Okay, and I'll make it big for everybody. And now you're gonna have to put that on your end, right? Like, you've got to allow that. There's three, like just how you added me to the stream. There should be three dots.
I got it right here.
Yep. There you go, and I'll make it bigger for everybody.
There we go.
Yeah, all right.
Oh, you got it, bud.
All right, so this is from the New London Police Department. It's dated December the 13th, 2022. That's today. This is an email today delivered to our man here, the Constitution State. And it reads, the internal affairs investigation initiated by a complaint to the New London Police Department for an incident that occurred on August 20th, 2022 has been conducted and concluded by Captain Matthew Galante. The allegations: assault on an individual, violation of rights. Okay, that's very vague. You would think they'd spend a little more time on that, but that is so vague. Anyway, we could get into that afterwards. Officers complained against. And findings. Lieutenant Joshua Bergetson sustained, which means he's found him guilty. You know, like they found that he did, in fact, assault a journalist here and violated his rights. But he goes on to say unfounded, and unfounded for Detective Sergeant Ryan Linderson, Officer Michael
Where did the
Lewis.
fifth officer come from, though?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe there was something going on behind the scenes that was unbeknownst to you, or that's
There
not
would
really
have to
seen
be,
in the
because
video. Yeah,
I only dealt with 4 cops that day.
we're going to pull the records on this internal affairs investigation. We're going to see how thorough Mr. Matthew Glante was in all of this. We're going to find out exactly who said what's in his reports, what he made, emphasis of in his notes and things.
And this is not Ferguson's first time.
No, yeah, this ain't his first rodeo at all.
He's been fired for this.
He also noted Eric Sadowski and Lieutenant Lawrence M. Keating. And he goes on to say, I have reviewed the investigation conducted by Captain Glante and concur with his findings. This matter is now considered closed by the New London Police Department. If you are not satisfied with the results of the findings, you may appeal to the mayor within 10 days of receipt of this letter. I want to know what statute that's based upon, too. Furthermore, he says the investigation of your complaint will be scheduled to be reviewed by the New London Police Community Relations Committee to determine if the complaint has been adequately investigated. We'll determine that ourselves as well, and so will the court of public opinion. You will receive notice when this review has been scheduled and may attend the meeting if you so desire. Yes, in fact, I will be attending that meeting as well. Maybe, depending on service there, we'll live stream it. We'll get a much better quality production for you, video resolution-wise if we do this statically, but maybe we'll do it both. So, yeah, that's basically it, and that is signed Brian M. Wright, Chief of New London Police. And that's that. What's funny is they say they consider the matter closed, but they haven't told you that they've filed criminal. There's no summons for this man, right? There's no criminal affidavit that's been submitted to the court about his assault right inside of the police lobby, right?
No, but you know what's funny, dude, is I just put it together a little while ago that when I was reading that, he tried to call me like yesterday or the day before or something. I seen the name and I was like, I don't know who that is. And then I seen it today on there and I'm like, oh, God dang it. So I don't know what he was He was probably just calling me to tell me it was done.
To see that, yeah, to confirm you've gotten the email or something. So, yeah, I wouldn't be satisfied. There's a second officer who laid hands on you. Is that correct?
Yeah. Which, not like as bad as the first one, but when I was walking, blocked my path of movement, kept pushing me back. There was 2 of them at one point, together, blocking my path. So, and that's Sadowski. That's the young one. He's the one.
That's actually a crime, here in the state of Connecticut.
The police don't think so.
Yeah, here I'm going to read you the statute. Let's see what the viewers think. It's called unlawful restraint here in the state of Connecticut, and it's pretty clearly defined. Let's see. Oh, there's coercion too. I mean, they've committed coercion. You've got reckless endangerment. You've got threatening. You've got assault in the first degree. I've read all first, second, and third degree assault statutes. The first degree assault does absolutely stick here. Unlawful restraint, 53A-96. That's, ladies and gentlemen, CGS 53A-96. Unlawful restraint in the second degree, a Class A misdemeanor. A person is guilty of unlawful restraint in the second degree when he restrains another person. Unlawful restraint in the second degree. That's okay. So maybe I'm confusing this with something else that I read while I was looking all this stuff up earlier, just to get the statute numbers. There is something. From the first degree assault, recklessly engages in conduct which creates a risk of death to another person. I mean, it's not uncommon that police discharge their firearms on unarmed individuals who are not even in the midst of a crime, and kill them. So I would say when a police officer physically engages with you and begins assaulting you, you are at very grave risk of even being shot, or potentially, you can be tasered in the leg and die 4 days later from that.
Yeah, it happens, dude.
Yeah. All right. So there is absolutely risk to your life involved in the altercation, physical altercation, which was not justified at all.
No.
So that's a felony charge. It's a felony charge, Class B, non-suspendable. Then you have threatening in the first degree, which is also a Class D or Class C felony, which is 53A-61.
Yep.
Reckless endangerment in the first degree, 53A-63. A person is guilty of reckless endangerment in the first degree when, with extreme indifference to human life, he recklessly engages. He recklessly engages in conduct which creates a risk of serious physical injury to another person. I mean, there's 4 cops around you. They're armed with guns, tasers, pepper spray, billy clubs, you name it, man.
It's true.
Any wrong move, and you could have been killed.
Yeah, for filming. That was it.
Reckless endangerment in the first degree is a Class A misdemeanor. Now, police need to be held to the highest of standards. I would say even higher than a normal citizen, because they're supposed to know these laws. They're supposed to know our rights. They're supposed to know that you're engaged in First Amendment protected activities, and they're supposed to refrain from interfering with those constitutionally protected activities. It's just that simple. Coercion, 53A-192, Class A misdemeanor or Class D felony. A person is guilty of coercion when he compels or induces another person to engage in conduct which such a person has a legal right to abstain from engaging in, or, in your case, to abstain from engaging in conduct in which such other person has a legal right to engage, by means of instilling in such other person a fear that if the demand is not complied with, the actor or another will commit any criminal offense, accuse any person of a criminal offense. I mean, that's basically what happened. The cops were trying to coerce you to leave the building, and they successfully did that through their coercion, which involved assaulting you and putting hands on you by 2 separate individuals. And now this is witnessed, mind you, by 3 other individuals, also police officers. They're witnessing a felony crime being committed right there in the lobby of the police department, and they did nothing. Okay, the police. There's a bill that was passed here in the state of Connecticut in 2020 that requires them by law to do something. There are laws that require them to intervene, and their failure to do that makes them, quote, willfully complicit criminal participants in the felony assault, in the coercion, in the deprivation of rights under color of law, in the conspiracy against rights, in the reckless endangerment. It's and the list goes on. You've got threatening.
Yeah. And then look at all. Oh, well, that's a different one. Never mind. I was getting confused for a second. You're right. It's almost like basically kidnapping.
Well, right. If they threw handcuffs on you and actually detained you against your will, there we could get a kidnapping charge. But since they were only blocking your path of free movement and blocking you from accessing our publicly accessible municipality, it only constitutes the statute I read, unlawful restraint. You can get them with unlawful restraint. I don't know if I read that one or not, because the list is kind of broken because it was
still
in
a
our
crime,
conversation.
Though. You know what I mean? Some people are like, oh, well, that's good enough. No, it's not. They just admitted he did that.
Right. Go out in public and try to stand in front of somebody and block their way. See how long you can get away with doing that before you're charged with unlawful restraint.
It's true. Like Human Being just said, they definitely did violate my rights, dude. They literally assaulted me, not once, more than once. then called me a loser because I was there, accused me of looking at the private cars, which I walked by, but I didn't stand there and go through every one like they were trying to say I was.
Right.
And then after they did what they did, you know what I did? I went and looked through all the private cars just because I could. It's crazy.
Yeah, listen, so this means first of all, you got to write up a petition for the appeal because we're not satisfied with the investigation. It's only half-assed right now. We need to tighten it up a little bit, right? So number one is we get a petition written for your appeal. We get that into the mayor's office, and we bring it to him physically. And then, or it doesn't have to be that way, but that would be ideal. And then after we do that, I mean, obviously there's going to be state court proceedings, you know, because we want criminal charges against these cops. And then there's going to be federal court proceedings for also criminal charges against these cops.
Yep.
There are federal crimes here. It's not just state violations of law. There are federal violations of law here. And we're going to hit them with every single letter as hard as we can of the law, criminally and civilly, you know, and we're going to show everyone the entire process and how it's being carried out and, you know, what our options are through every step of the way and how we're going to be successful in doing it. You know, maybe the city will be compelled to allow us to document so thoroughly that we can bring some cameras into mediation with us. You know,
absolutely. I think we have to document everything, dude, because you know what? At this point, I don't trust any of them with how they've been. Not a single person that works for the state right now, I think, is somebody I don't think that I should have a recording device with me when I go deal with them because at this point, they're liable to do whatever they want.
You got it. And they make it up as they go along. Asking a question here in the state of Connecticut, like, hey, can you produce a document for me that shows me that I don't have any civil rights in this building? You know, like, can you show me what order or documentation you have to what authority and under whose authority you're enforcing this civil rights violation under, you know, like what is going on here? Can you produce that? Like a question. It turns into you're under arrest. You're a terrorist. You're an oath keeper and you're disturbing the peace. And then they realize, well, shit, we can't really charge them at that. What are we going to do? Then they just illegally trespass you from public property and make things even worse for themselves because they
threatened me with it. They did, but
they trespassed you unofficially. They did it without doing any paperwork. They threw you out of the courthouse and wouldn't let you enter. They trespassed you. On top of that, they sent the letter they got the bail commissioner's letter sent out, and you got a failure to appear.
Yep.
That's totally unacceptable.
No, we can't be having that.
No, so you know.
That is crazy though. It's not fair. And that's what I mean is that's why they need to be recorded though.
It's all over the state. Yeah, none of them are trustworthy. We got New London, New Britain, New Haven, Willimantic.
I go to court, you get arrested. We go to court for you, everything's fine. It's just how they wake up. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Maybe they didn't get their steroids and their Wheaties or their cocaine, or maybe they didn't beat their wives hard enough the night before, or maybe the prostitute ripped them off for some money. Who knows what's going on with these guys? Hey, let's be fair. Maybe it's a little PTSD. Maybe they got some mental health issues that need to be seriously addressed, and they just consider that they don't need any help, you know, kind of like an addict in denial. We've got these public servants who are suffering from traumas associated with their work, right? Stress-induced traumas and things. And they keep on thinking and telling themselves they're in control and everything's fine. They are absolutely out of control.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, and these issues need to be addressed. These people need to be properly trained. They need to know the law. You cannot enforce laws if you are unaware of our laws. You cannot be a law enforcement officer and not know our rights and our laws, period. End of discussion. You can't be a judicial marshal and think that some people have rights and some people don't based on whatever your boss tells you. You know who was just following orders? Can I say the word on your channel?
I don't care. Go for it.
The Nazis, man. The Nazis were just following orders. The Nazi German soldiers in Nazi Germany were just following orders. Well, that's the excuse all of our cops and state employees and state judicial marshals use around here. They're just following orders. I've been ordered not to talk to you. I've been ordered not to answer that question. I've been ordered to confiscate your phones and illegally search your persons and seize your property.
Yeah, it's
okay.
true. Let me answer a fair lady real quick. The initial thing we were talking about at when I was assaulted in the parking lot, that was New London. What we were just talking about was New Britain courthouse. That's where they did that stuff.
Right.
So,
and we got this guy in Willimantic last night.
For that, dude. It's going to be 3 months almost by the time I get to court for that charge. What happened to a speedy trial? You know what I mean?
Fair speedy trial. Yeah, they're just jerking you around, trying to exhaust your resources, just jam you up best they can. They don't know that they're messing with people who are inclined to you know, they think we're a bunch of dumb YouTubers. Dumb YouTubers, grifters, bunch of losers we are. You know, we don't even have
funny,
kids.
You know what I mean?
We're all bums. We don't have jobs.
You know
right?
what cracks me up out of all this is that when the mayor just put out that little thing in the paper, and we have the Jim Rivers, the town manager, saying that these people just don't understand the laws. And I'm not quite sure, like if he's talking about us or if he's talking about the people making the phone calls, but I think he's talking about us. And Jim, breach of peace really isn't that hard of a law in Connecticut anymore to figure out. So I think you should have looked into it before you made that comment, because he just looks, you know what I mean? You can't be in the paper talking about he sounds like the cops. You know what I mean? I know what I'm talking about, man. And he doesn't know anything. It's just to me, it looks like a publicity stunt.
Oh, we got I'm mirroring this stream on my channel. Joe Cool is watching. What up, Joe Cool? Thanks for tuning in. Conspiracy Music, Tommy 2274. Gordon Fiala, Human Being, Cammed Up Caveman. All right. Jim Jersey. Thanks everybody for joining us.
Yeah, like Ryan said, they always say, "What law school did you go to?" They don't. I ain't never seen any cop pull out a law degree.
You know what's so funny about that is I seen him say that to a guy who's a frickin' lawyer.
Oh.
You know, he's telling them, and they don't listen. Like, they automatically cop that condescending attitude, like, oh, you think you're smarter than me? I'm the one with the gun and the badge. I'll show you, buddy. So they're instantly offended by you knowing more than them. They get mad at you. Their inferiority complex kicks in. Their ego starts getting boosted by the adrenaline secretions and things going on in the brain, and they just become like Neanderthals. It's like they can't win in a verbal, intellectual articulation of words, so they just break your window, pull you out of the car, beat the shit out of you, electrocute you, restrain you, handcuff you against your will, and then make up a bunch of charges like, oh, he was resisting, he was obstructing, he was interfering, he's breaching the peace. You know, it's
amazing. What just hit me, dude, though? I bet you most auditors or even most regular citizens, if you do like me, you know what I mean, or you know what I mean, we read stuff late at night or after hours. I bet you within 6 months or a year, most of us have put in more time into studying the law than cops do in their couple months of training that they spend
in their entire careers. You and I have probably unearthed more about our laws, constitutional and state statutes and town ordinance, you name it, than these people have in their entire careers.
It's true. What up, Jay Laura? What up, dude? No, but it's like they think they know everything. It doesn't even matter what subject it is. You bring up something, they got to know more. You're always going to be wrong. As soon as you prove them wrong, as soon as you enlighten them, instead of accepting the enlightenment and perhaps even admitting their error and then correcting it and moving on constructively, they always go to that go-to line. Look, I'm not going to argue with you. Are you going to get out of the car or not? You know, look, I'm not going to argue with you. Are you going to give me your ID or not? And it's like, well, have I committed a crime? All right, you're under arrest for obstruction. You heard the lady in the last video, dude, when we were talking in the car after she arrested me, and like every time I would say something, it would be like, well, I'm just not going to talk to you because you're yelling. When I wasn't even yelling, she was being loud in the car. But you know what I mean? Every time we were talking about something and I brought up a point, that's what it was. Well, you're just not listening to me, or you know what I mean? You're yelling, and she would just cut me off. Like,
hey, you know, I feel so little over here like this. Can't you make me like?
How do I do it?
Try them little. There should be like a little picture underneath your thing, like how you want to display the stream, like the layout. There should be layout options. You can go side by side or blah blah
on this
blah.
one, it always makes me do it before. Hold on, overlay. This is not. Hold on, I'll try and find it.
Yeah, because it's all right if you can. I just feel lonely down here.
No, I'd rather. I didn't know if I could. But
I feel like no one could see me.
we're in this one.
Laws need to be changed. Police should not be allowed to investigate themselves. That's Jim Jersey over here on Tyrant Slayer Studios. We couldn't agree more. Isn't that right, Constitution State?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Where'd you get your law degree? Yeah, that's. Oh, hey, Sam Magliari in the house. Thanks for tuning in, my man. Great. He says, ladies and gentlemen, let me just take a second. There is a YouTube channel.
Comment before.
Oh, over on his channel?
No, I had it up on here when he first put it up. I thought you saw it.
No, I didn't. I missed it. I'm sorry. It says, great job, guys. I will add reckless endangerment and coercion to the charges. Kidnapped. He was illegally arrested and illegally incarcerated more than once. And in fact, it absolutely seems like they were trying to kill him in prison because they were denying him all of his medications, including heart medications, breathing apparatuses, and things of that nature. He's a former city engineer for the city of Stamford, Connecticut, turned whistleblower, trying to expose the embezzlement crimes of the city employees and fellow engineers of Stamford, Connecticut. He's got some serious stuff going on. His life is in absolute danger. Thank you. They've got like excessive bond. He's got a list of charges against these judges, Stamford Police Department, a list of attorneys. I mean, it's such a mess, and it's been going on for over 3 years. Like the prosecutors are now threatening his attorneys, so his attorneys keep on running for the hills and trying to get out of the cases to avoid getting under the feathers and ruffling the feathers of these corrupt judges. It's really an incredibly disturbing case with very complex circumstances, but it's all very simple to see what is wrong. And clearly Sam is in a very bad way. He's going to trial. I think it's coming up next month sometime in January. We're going to be following that very closely. It's only a matter of time before the Constitution State meets Sam Magliari. He has his own YouTube channel. Get on over there, get an idea of what he's got going on. It's only a matter of time before we interview him here on Tyrant Slayer Studios. He and I talk a lot privately. A lot of what he has to share shouldn't be shared because it could be a detriment to him winning certain cases and being able to present certain information in court. We don't want to try to mold, shape, and manipulate the court of public opinion and then bring it into an official court setting only to have them say, that's inadmissible because it's all over YouTube.
It's true.
Right. That's a mistrial. We don't want that. We want to be able to hold these people accountable with everything we've got. So, Sam and I have just been trying to be careful, so it's just a matter of time. But show him some love.
That's awesome. Yeah, go check him out. I wish I could figure out how to pin his thing. I had his comment up, but like I put his channel.
I'll put the channel link up for you guys.
Go ahead. We got First Capital Transparency. What up, bud? Good to see you here. Appreciate you, man. It's a lot of stuff, but you know what? A lot of people have been asking me, dude, for a while now, like, what's going on with New London? Because that video still. The shorts from it still like go crazy at times because what they did was crazy. But like, and they're always like update, and I didn't have anything because I was waiting for this. So I think a lot of people would be happy. Good to see that, Jay Laura. Appreciate that. It's good to tell people, you know what I mean? All the people that have been waiting, because I've even been like, what the heck? It's been a while. It's been 4 months almost. And now we got saying what we knew, somewhat what we knew, and everybody else gets to skate. No. There you go. I'm trying to get.
I'll be right back. I got to run upstairs just for a second.
Go ahead. That's Sam's channel. If anybody wants to check it out, go check it out. So I haven't met him yet, but I've heard a lot of good things about him, and I know he's going through the struggles, so he could use anybody's help. What else? Yeah, Willimantic. I don't know what they're doing. We went out there last night. Rivera, we dealt with him. I'll put that video up soon. He was awesome. He listened to us. He talked to us. He was just good. And then we seen him on the street. He was still good. Giller, I don't know what his deal was. Wouldn't he just kept driving by us. Like, what are you doing? After like the 10th time I started getting aggravated, I started flipping him off, telling him to get back to work, stop stealing our money. Like, and I'm gonna go for you his dash cam and his reports and see what he was doing. And find out why he was over there, because he definitely wasn't working. He was harassing us, and that's not what we pay him to do. And the shift is crazy, because he was all right all the way up till the day he wanted to not do his job and watch a criminal arrest me for nothing. But J. Lauro, it's crazy. You're right. I mean, when I first started doing it, I knew, and like I've been through a lot of stuff. Like I've been to jail, I've been to a lot of places, so I've seen a lot of stuff. But like, I found so much more in this first 6 months than I could have ever imagined. Like, it's crazy, and it's not like when the cops arrest you and they say, "Oh well, the courts will sort it out." The courts don't. It's not like you go to court and you have a fair shot. You know what I mean? They put letters out in the paper saying that people are harassing the mayor because of you, and you know what I mean? And it's really not all that fair.
Oh, it's totally libelous. Like, if anyone actually, you know what? I'll try to find some links to that stuff. We'll get them up on our community pages.
Oh,
we
wait.
should discuss.
I have. It's already up on my page.
The article? Let me pull it up on the share screen then. Hold on.
Yeah.
All right, hang on.
I think I figured out how to upload stuff too. But I'm gonna
okay, do it. Run it. See if you can do it.
I don't know where it is. Hold on, let me see. What were we talking about?
The Chronicle.
Yeah, hold on.
Listen, not folks, I come across this a couple 3 days ago. It was like early evening, or maybe it was late afternoon, and I sent you a screenshot of it, and I was like,
"No,
dude,
I can't do it."
I was like, "Dude, are they talking about you?" Like, within the first 3 lines, it absolutely seemed like they were talking about you and your incident, and I was like, "Shit, he didn't call and threaten the mayor or something, did he? Like, he ain't stupid. That ain't him." So, like, what is going on? This is like a drive-by hit piece by the local corporate media over at the Chronicle, where we're fair and unbiased, you know, like a total hit job. And he looks at it, you know, what'd you get, like 2-3 lines in? You're like, yeah, that's totally about me. It certainly seems that way, right? And then the next day, boom, there's like right in the paper, plus whatever I got online that I showed you a picture of is all there. And there's a still frame taken right from your YouTube video. How is it not supposed to be interpreted by any reader that it's about you and your channel and your interaction with that specific officer, right? And then the wordplay inside of it, you know, it was very disappointing. Are you comfortable going into, you know, how we address that? Like, immediately you're like, yo, what do we, you know, how can we, you know, we wanted to both kind of collectively decide what do we do, how to best handle this, right? So you called and tried to get a hold of Michelle. Do you know her last name offhand?
Michelle Warren.
Michelle Warren, the editor. Is she an editor?
Yeah, no, I think she's just a writer.
Okay, she's a writer at the Chronicle. Okay. Michelle Warren, you reached out and you did make contact with her. And what's funny, if I may say so myself, in her explanation about why, you know, she's asking you for so much detail. Your call with her started before you got to my house, and we were there talking to her at my house for almost an hour.
Yeah, we talked to her for a while.
Almost an hour.
Probably close to an hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half total.
Right. Now, I've heard her say in that conversation, like making excuses. It seemed to me that she was making excuses and, like, you know, treating you unfairly. It's like they just immediately got a call from the mayor's office or the police department, and then boom, they just run with whatever story they are getting. With barely any investigating, she didn't get any records. She didn't call you or make contact with you and get both sides of the story. She didn't do any of it, right? But when you're telling her what's going on and asking her for, you know, to recant the story, to correct some errors, to you know, to do some journalism, she's like, well, this is going to take some time because I have to do things this way and I have to get more information. I have to call these people. It's like, well, how come you didn't do that in the hit piece?
Yep.
You know, like she wants to have her cake and eat it too. So I don't know if I trust her yet, but I will give her credit in the sense that you talked for an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And it seems as though she is genuinely interested in getting it right.
Yeah. She seemed like she cared about her job, but the first actions we saw from her didn't prove that. But
no, in fact, her initial the initial article is libelous, misleading, defaming.
Yeah.
It's actually harmful to you because it's still under investigation. Like what's happened to you hasn't even been adjudicated. You still have to go to court. It hasn't been ruled by a judge that you've broken a law, but you've got a quote and a comment from the town manager featured in that article saying, "We're the idiots that don't know the law."
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. And I know they're going to talk about it. You know what I mean? That's what they do here. They love it.
Yeah, but and then a journalist tries to get a journalist like us try to get more information. They go, "Oh, it's under investigation. We can't answer any questions."
Yeah.
Right,
well, remember she said too. She said, "Well, the police are stonewalling me. They won't tell me anything. So it's hard to work with them." So who knows what she's? You know what I mean?
Well, what other threats? Like, because if we read the article here, I'll pull it up. Just give me a second. Describe, like, the issues that you and I were discussing. Like, what other threats? Because in the article, there is no threat.
I asked her on the phone, and I think that was before I got to you. And because that was my big thing. I'm like, you guys can't be putting a paper out saying there's threats if there's no real threats. Because what their example of the threat is not a threat. And then she tried to tell me that she kept trying to say that there's more threats that are coming from another issue, not this, which if you read that article, the article doesn't say that. The article says there's like no difference. You know what I mean? She makes it seem like it's all coming from people online. And she couldn't tell me for sure. She said, well, there is more. She said something along the lines like there is more. She made it sound like there was more of that call, but still couldn't confirm if there was an actual real threat. Like, so I don't know. We're going to have to get that somehow. But it just doesn't make sense. I think he's just getting phone calls and is being a baby and trying to get the paper involved to make it look like the town's the victim now.
I've got the article up on your community page.
Okay.
I'll put a link into it for the chat. This is the Willimantic Chronicle. This is headline is Willimantic police are currently investigating threats incident. Michelle Warren Chronicle. It's a little blurry here. We're going to have to get an actual copy of this newspaper. But it says, Willimantic police are currently investigating threats made against Windham Mayor Thomas DeVivo, as well as an incident involving a person who claims his rights were violated by Willimantic police officer Amber Prose. Windham town manager, is that Jen or John Rivers?
John Rivers.
John Rivers.
We call him Jen, though. Sounds like Jen.
Girly man John Rivers. Said town staff have been under attack by local residents as well as individuals from the region and beyond. To infinity and beyond. Oh, yeah, that's
we got Buzz
right?
Lightyear.
Yeah. We've got calls and complaints coming in from the whole universe and galaxy because You know, like what is this wrong with this guy?
What is beyond?
He says, quote,
aliens calling them?
Right. Some folks are just angry and trying to attack municipal employees. Yeah. Hey, what are you guys doing today, man? It's Friday. I don't know. I was thinking about going out and attacking some municipal employees today. You guys want to, form an attack with me today? Oh, what were you going to do? Well, I was going to call them and tell them that they're corrupt and breaking our laws. Oh my God, man, you're crazy. You're going to do that? What is wrong with these people? Like the perception of this guy, that this is the town manager, John Rivers, who's under the paranoid delusion that because he's a municipality employee, his life he's under attack. He's under attack by transparency and accountability.
Time out real quick. I just want to give Joseph a shout out. Formeister, what up, bud? It's good to see you in here. He's always and all the stuff. He's awesome. He's a good dude.
Yeah, quote, some folks are just angry and trying to attack municipal employees and the police departments across the state, end quote. That he's got it all figured out. He's got us all pegged. He knows what we're all doing.
It's funny how they take people and put them in the classification as what did he say? They're trying to attack. No, it's people that aren't happy with how these police departments are acting, and they're getting phone calls from the public telling them, do your job right, train your cops right, do better, and the police turn that into an attack, and suddenly they're getting threatened.
As if there's no reason to be angry. As if the people have no gripe.
That's the worst part.
Yeah. Quote, end quote, they don't understand what the laws are. That's the town manager, John Rivers, in Windham, Connecticut. Willimantic, town manager. Quote, end quote, they don't understand what the laws are.
Jen Rivers?
Go ahead.
No, I just said Jen Rivers.
Oh, Jen Rivers. So Rivers said, while these people claim they are exercising their liberties, they are actually breaking the law. Yeah, standing on the public sidewalk and telling your fellow citizen not to consent to a search is a crime. Exercising freedom of speech, holding a camera, documenting the official duties of our official public servants in the course of their, their official capacity is a crime, I guess. This guy knows nothing about the First Amendment. He knows nothing about the United States. Anything that has the potential to make his employees that he's responsible for, his police department and things like that, anything that has the potential to make them look bad or hold them accountable for their crimes is an attack. And we're an angry mob. We're angry and attacking. This guy's insane. These are paranoid delusions. I would have to wonder if this guy's head is filled with psychotropic drugs prescribed by a doctor who's peddling drugs for profit. It does happen, folks. It happens a lot here in Connecticut, as a matter of fact, but that sort of stuff isn't really embraced and put forth by YouTube here. That's got to be a discussion for another platform. So I digress.
But it's just, dude, you're right. But it explains a lot, because you know what? I've been trying to get in touch with these people for a while, and the one time I catch the mayor out, we all know what he said. You know what I mean? So I don't really.
Let's go into that. Let's go into that for those of you who don't know what he said.
Yeah.
Please, give a brief synopsis on that, because I got viewers on my channel who might not know.
I was at a public event in Willimantic, and we were recording and everything. We actually took a break. We went to my car, so my camera wasn't on, but the mayor was walking by, and he caught me, and he said, "Oh, did you get good footage or something?" And I said something. So I asked him why his police department is withholding public records from me, and he told me. He asked me how old I was, so I told him, and he said, "You should be out effing BITCHs instead of worrying about this." And that was his answer.
Now, let me ask you, how old are you, sir?
33.
33 years old, and he talked to you like he thought he could manipulate you like maybe a 17-year-old high school student.
Yeah.
You know, at a pizza party in the gymnasium.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, right. Yeah, you should be out effing bitches and you know, getting high or turning tricks or, you know, Jesus Christ, man. This is Tom DeVivo, the Tom DeVivo, who used to own Willimantic Waste, who made contracts with the town of Willimantic in his privately owned business of waste management, sanitation, garbage disposal, right?
Yep.
Oh, the monopoly on the garbage in Windham County and elsewhere is a huge brain-busting story. Tom DeVivo is hated by his own family. Okay? I'll just leave it at that. We could do a week-long series on Tom DeVivo if you'd like one day.
We should.
We will. Oh, we will. Especially based on our experience with this office in filing the appropriate complaints about the police department and getting everybody's heads together like we're trying to do. We want the town manager, the mayor, Tom DeVivo, and chief of Willimantic Police to sit down with us and talk about what is going on and what they intend to do to address these very real, very serious problems that could be very costly for all of the taxpayers. You know, based on all that, we'll take...
true, because we need to have this meeting, you know what I mean? And they've ducked us. Like, no joke. Why do you think I deal with Glode at Willie PD? Because Glode is the only one that will talk to me, deputy chief. The chief won't talk to me. I've approached him many times. He always sits in his car, won't come out until I leave, drives away, just walks away. Like, that's what he does. And so he's been useless this whole time. I've emailed DeVivo a few times. In the beginning, he'd answer me. You know, I emailed him, a month ago, asking him if we could meet up, have some coffee, talk about his police, and nothing. Didn't hear a thing. So
yeah, he probably called Hussey, and Hussey's like, "Oh, I just ignore him." He's like, "Oh yeah, I'll just ignore him too."
Yeah, you're so smart, Hussey.
I mean, come on, man. Hussey didn't even respond to me. I've known Chief Hussey long before he was a cop in town. He was a hall monitor in my middle school. Okay, so I got a personal experience with him. I got a personal rapport with him. I reached out to Hussey, got to be 3-4 months ago now. Nothing. Never a return phone call, despite how kind and professional I was, how I insinuated we could do a lot for the community, how it's great to see that someone who is known by so many in my lifetime, like in my class or my generation, to be so local and in a high position in town. Nothing, no response. What does that tell you right there? It's no secret that the fish rots from the head down, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Well, he's ignored me, right? And I watched him driving like a tool, dude. Almost had somebody drive into the back of him because he didn't use his blinker and just slammed on his brakes to pull into Jilson. So when I went up to the car, I didn't know who he was at the time. This was like when I first started doing it. And that's the video that when I just got arrested, the lady cop referred to, "Oh, you were taping kids?" I wasn't taping kids. They were there to do an event for the kids at Jilson, but I was filming the cars and them.
You know, I find that interesting because there's like this new wave of shit that's associated with trolling activists like you and I, journalists like you and I. The go-to thing is we're pedophiles. Oh, you're just deadbeats, pedophiles, jobless, living in mommy's basement, blah blah. So like, of course, when you've got potential footage and damning information about the chief of Willimantic Police, the very first initial response you're going to get, the knee-jerk response you're going to get from police physically on scene, just like we get in the virtual world here on YouTube, is, "Oh, you were filming kids," or "Oh, you're like a pedophile." Like, let's just try to take all the light off of what's actually wrong here, which is actually associated with the chief of police, and turn it all on you and accuse you of filming children. What?
Well, and then you heard her in the video too, because she admitted right after she said that. And then she's like, "Well, then you told us what you were actually doing, and it was okay." And that's when I was like, dude, no, it doesn't matter if it's okay or not. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? She's acting like she's giving me permission in all these situations to do what I'm going to do any which way. Or she's
that conversation, that exchange unto itself serves as irrefutable proof, evidence that this woman has no idea what she is doing. She has let this uniform, this costume she's wearing, fill her head with so much hot air that she forgot that we're in the United States of America. That this is not Nazi Germany, it's not Mao's China, it's not Lenin or Stalin. It's this
America.
Woman doesn't know where she's at and who's paying her salary.
It's sad.
It's clear.
They need to go.
They do. Listen, folks, this community needs to get behind our efforts here in the state of Connecticut. There are very serious things going on in the state of Connecticut, man. There are treason charges being investigated by the FBI filed against judges here in the state of Connecticut, okay?
It's no joke.
There are real things happening. We don't publish everything. We don't talk about everything, but there are very real things happening, and there are very serious problems that the people of the state of Connecticut are facing every single day.
Absolutely.
We could use the support of this community, man. Just tune in, just watch, just share the links. Talk about this stuff, man. Look into it yourselves. See for yourselves. We need some help out here. This is supposed to be the Constitution state.
Yeah.
Hence the name of your channel.
And
we're the furthest. We are the furthest from the Constitution, more so than any other state in this union, even California, home to like the most concentrated population of communists in this entire country.
It's crazy. Well, it's almost been an hour. You want to wrap this up?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have a bad habit.
You didn't want to be up too late, too.
Yeah.
I just wanted to come on and tell everybody what was going on because there's some stuff changing. We're making some progress. We're going to start moving forward on certain stuff.
Word, yeah. Thanks for having me, man.
No, of course. Thanks for coming.
I appreciate it, everybody. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys next time.
Thank you, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Thanks, Tyrant Slayer.